वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। Hari Om. Okay, can I see the other kids too? Could you open can you turn on the videos, guys? Hi Swara. Okay, so let's start where we were from last time. So just to give you a head start, so what happened is we went through here Arjun came and asked Krishna Bhagwan that tell me what should I do, right? What is my duties? And Krishna Bhagwan starts with one self knowledge, that is Atma Gyan. Atma Gyan, Atma means self, Gyan means knowledge. So Krishna Bhagwan starts with Atma Gyan, which was all second chapter. He talks about that you are not this body, mind, intellect. You are this Atman, this consciousness. That's what your real self is. That's the ultimate truth. And he talked about the human life is for that ultimate truth that we need to reach, right? Human life is given for that ultimate truth. And that ultimate truth that we are talking about cannot be sliced by the weapon, cannot die. It's forever, it's there, right? So that's what Krishna Bhagavan said. And then on other side, he then after that he mentioned karma. He said that you have to be engaged in action all the time and you have to fight this battle, right? So when he was doing that, what happened is he always said realize the Brahman is the ultimate goal, but you have to do the action and reach to that goal. So after the second chapter, when the last thing he says that everything is Brahman and you have to realize that, Arjun got a confusion, right? He said, you talk about that there is a Gyan, there is a knowledge, that everything is Brahman that we have to realize. So there is a knowledge part of it that you are saying we should be doing, and that's the ultimate goal. But then you talk about action. So which one should I do, right? Should I take the Gyan or should I do the action? Give me one straight answer that do this. Don't go here and there and tell me either this will work or either that will work. But that was a misunderstanding that Arjun had, right? So the first shlok when when Arjun starts here, it says, Jayasi chet karmanas te mata buddhir janardana. Tell me the truth. What should I, where should I do? What should I do? So Krishna Bhagavan starts with saying that it's not either an or option, right? If you have to go to Bombay, how would you go? If you ask me, I would say, take a car from house to the airport and then take a flight from here to Bombay, right? That's how you go. Now you will say that, don't give me two options, just give me either car or either flight. Just tell me one or other. Is it possible to just give an option on that one? Do you go, can I go with car only or can I go with the flight only? It cannot happen, right? So there is a path, there is a designated path that from here, house to airport, you have to go in some kind of vehicle. And then from airport to, you have to fly, right? So that's an option, or you can go in the ship, but there are multiple options, right? So he already talked to us about that, and he said, you know, it's not either or. You cannot just say that, okay, I'm going to do the action and I'm not going to do the gyan. It's not that, right? You have to go, there is a car and there is an airplane. And we already discussed, you know, what happens is when we do karma yoga, what is the result of karma yoga? What it happens, the matrix that I...
Action.
You do the karma yoga, you get
the
purification of mind. You remember, guys, we did that matrix?
Yeah.
What was the solution? What was the purpose, right?
Yeah.
So karma yoga gives you purification of the mind, right? With the purified mind, when we do dhyana yoga, what happened? Then it becomes concentration. Concentration of mind. And then when we do the gyan and dhyan, when we do karma, purification comes. When we do with the purified mind and with the concentrated mind, we can get the gyan, which is knowledge. And with this knowledge, that's when we get the ultimate truth, right? So there is a path to go. There is a car, there is a there is a plane, there is a ride that you have to do. So that's how you go, right? It's not that you can do karma or you can do gyan or you can do dhyan. It's not that, right? And all of them, above all, comes the bhakti yoga. Without the bhakti, we cannot even do purification of mind. We cannot do concentration, and we cannot do the Jnana Yoga, the knowledge. So everything is required, right? That's what Krishna Bhagavan said to him, that it's not either or. You have to do all of them. And then sometimes, you know what happens is, people say that, and I would say it's not that you need all of them, but you do need, like, little harmony of some. Like, people get a liberation with bhakti yoga too, right? We say, we have so many examples, like Mirabai, that who was, very much in bhakti with, she was bhakti with Krishna Bhagwan, and she got liberation, right? So bhakti yoga also can give, but bhakti is the foundation, right? But then you have to go through these things to get to the next level, right? So that karma yoga comes, then you get dhyana yoga, and then you can get the Jnana Yoga. That's how Krishna Bhagavan explains it, and that's what Vedanta explains it. So either you have to have harmony of all four yogas, or you will be prominent at one, but then you will need all the other three yogas. So then Krishna Bhagavan explains this, that we have to have this whole yoga. Now, this chapter that we are doing is on what? Karma Yoga, right? So third chapter is all based on karma. So we are talking about actions, right? What action, how we should be doing, what we should be doing, what is Krishna Bhagavan explaining us, what should we do in our life, right? So always remember that this, what you are learning right now, it's not just you take it as a class, it's in your life. Everyday moment you can feel that what can you do and what you should not be doing, right? So think about it when you take any decision. Think about this, what we are teaching here, and then make a decision. You will find it so easy. Somebody, you feel bad about something. You feel sorrow about something. Somebody hurt you. As soon as somebody hurts you and you start having this feeling, it's going to happen. We are made of defaulted human being, right? We have default mind and intellect and everything. So it's going to be there. But as soon as somebody hurts you, what you do is, think about this, that am I a mind? Am I this feeling? If I'm not this feeling, why I am feeling hurt? As soon as that answer you get it, then you will not feel that you are hurt, right? So kind of this thing just to educate you guys to get to that. Now we discuss a lot, the slok number 21, where Krishna Bhagavan starts talking about what kind of action and technology, and differentiate between the people who have the Gyan, who has the knowledge and the people who are ignorant, right? So when Arjun says that, okay, let's say if I get enlightened, do I still have to work? Now Krishna Bhagavan is keep on saying that you have to work, right? So do I still have to work? Then Krishna Bhagavan answered that yes, even enlightened people work. They have to keep doing the work. They have to keep doing the action. And why so? He gives couple examples, right? He said, because the first thing is the superior people, other people imitate them, right? We imitate everybody, right? If somebody does a really good thing, what do? We want to be like that, right? If we like somebody, what we want to do? We want to be like that person, right? So we imitate superior people who are better than us, we think, right? So we start doing that, we imitate them. And that's where it's important for enlightened people to do action, right? If they don't do the action, how will we as a normal people get to know what is the right action to do, right? So they set up the example. They set the example up for us, right? So that's the important thing, that one thing that enlightened people have to keep doing the action, right? Now the second thing is also that when I say that it comes with a bigger responsibility because people are imitating us, right? Or people are imitating that enlightened person. So then you have to make sure. Same way as a student here, we also come with responsibility. We don't do bad things because we are getting this knowledge, right? Even if we are we don't realize it yet, but we are on path of it, right? We all are learning this for at least a year, right? So we don't do bad things, right? We don't go into the bad circle. We don't talk bad. We don't hurt somebody intentionally. We don't do bad things, right? So that's your responsibility. You come up because you are attending these classes. The responsibility falls on you guys too, right? Everybody. Now, what I'm saying is, so Krishna Bhagavan says that. Now he says that he gave an example, like Raja Janak, we talk about that story, right? So he gave an example of somebody else who is very enlightened and how he kept working, right? He was a king and he kept the kingdom, he kept doing things, but he was enlightened. Then he gave his own example. As a Krishna Bhagavan, even if, we don't, at that time Arjuna doesn't know that he was a god, right? He just thought as a friend, he was an enlightened person. Still he kept working for what? Right? He doesn't need anything. He actually in the shlok he mentioned in 3 loks, in 3 worlds, like we talk about 3 worlds. In 3 worlds, he doesn't need anything. Still he works, right? So then what happened is that he works means that he has to, he is working means if he is working, then everybody has to work too, right? So that another example he gives you. And then he also mentioned that what happens if the superior people who are enlightened people don't work, what happens? Then everything get destroyed because everybody stop, doing the bad things, or the destruction of the society happens. So he explained these things to us on a couple earlier shloks that we talk about it. Then he says a couple things he explained in previous shloks were unenlightened people and enlightened people. What is the difference? So unenlightened people do all the action with attachment, and then enlightened people do the actions but they do without attachment. So what was the biggest difference in their actions? Anybody remember what does the unenlightened person means? Even I don't say the enlightened person, but who is on spiritual path and who is not on spiritual path. So unenlightened, let's put just not on spiritual path and on spiritual path. What is the biggest difference that you will see in their action?
What, from karma?
Karma means their action. Whatever action they do, what is the biggest difference between these 2 people doing the actions? Anybody remember? How does the person will act when they are not on spiritual path, and the person who realized and are on spiritual path? You remember? You can look the previous couple classes if you have taken some notes. Okay. You want to say something? Just you don't have to write this. If you are attending the class, you should know the answer. What would a person do that is not spiritual, or one person who is on spiritual class? What was the difference in their action? Yeah, Avika.
One action is attached to it.
Avika wants to say it, then I will ask you. Yeah, Avika.
So someone who's not enlightened, they would do stuff like normally, but someone who is enlightened would do things devoted to God.
Devoted to God. Yeah, one. Very true. Very true. Okay, what else? Okay.
One is attached to results and one is not.
One is attached to the result and one is not. That's true too. What else?
Okay, so the biggest thing is the non-spiritual path would do for actions for himself, and the spiritual path does actions for others.
For others. Yeah, biggest thing, right? So non-spiritual path, they will do all the actions for their desires or for themselves. All actions are done for themselves. And then this one do for others. So serve others. That's the biggest difference in regular life. And what Avika said is right too. You know, the person who does, who is on spiritual path and non-spiritual path, the difference is they surrender everything to God. That's the highest one, right? But if we don't get to that highest one, what Avika said, that surrender everything to God, even we go to the little lower one, this is the one that is service to God or service to themselves, right? Even the things that we do it for our people, right? I do it for my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. That is also come into this. That doesn't come into this. Remember that part. That also come because I will be happy because my brother will be happy, or I will be happy because my mom will be happy. So whatever you are doing for yourself here, right? So anything that you do for others, their actions will be for the enlightened person. That's how they do it, right? So that's the biggest difference that God mentioned in the previous shlokas. Now, in the verse 27 that we did last time, it was a big verse and we talk a lot about it. I just wanted to give a good highlight because that's very important. That gives you all the underlying reality of Gita, why we are studying Gita. So you need to know about this little one more time. So we talk about 5 sheets, right? Do you guys remember we talked about 5 sheets? Yeah, last time. If anybody tell me any one of the sheets or that I spoke last time, I will be very happy.
Physical body.
Physical body.
That's what it says.
Can you tell me in Sanskrit? Or
Annamaya kosha.
Annamaya kosha, yeah.
And Pran.
Pranamaya kosha. Anybody remember the third one? So we did Annamaya, Pranamaya, Mananmaya kosha, Vigyanmaya kosha, Anandmaya kosha. I want you guys to write this down because it's very important. So I'm going to write it again so you remember. So I will ask about 5 sheets. Hold on. You can say 5 sheets or kosha. Kosha, kosha. 5 sheets. So the first one is Annamaya kosha. That is physical body. Then second is Pranamaya kosha. That is life forces. third is Manamaya Kosha. Which is mind. Vijnana Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is the intellect. And then the last one is Anandamaya Kosha. Which is bliss. Okay. Any questions on this one? Raja, I think there is somebody who is writing the chat. Could you check? What? Cannot read it? Okay. Okay, can I say it one more time so you guys can understand? So first one is Annamaya. Anna means food, right? So Annamaya Kosha. The second one is Pranamaya Kosha. Prana means life, right? When we breathe, that's prana, right? Our life. When the blood is circulating in our body, right? All these enzymes that are being secreted in our liver, stomach, all these are our life sources, right? Life forces. So life forces is Pranamaya Kosha. Then we do mind. Mind, our man, what we say in Sanskrit, man. That is Manomaya Kosha, right? Then intellect is Vijnana. Vijnana means your intellect, right? So Vijnanamaya Kosha. And then Anandamaya Kosha means the bliss that we explained last time is that, you know, when we go to sleep, when we fall a deep sleep, there is nothing, our body is not there, our mind is not there, then what is there, right? There is a blank, and that blankness is known as the bliss, the enjoyment of the blankness, right? So we talk about these five. Now I want you to understand that why did we talk about these five? We talk about these five because we explain that all these five things, that what we are not, right? Now we are talking about why we are not these, and that gives you all the answers how we should be behaving, right? So when we talk about ourselves, we talk about I am this, right? So we start from me as I am this. So we talk about this physical body, right? I am this. And then here it says we are not the physical body. And what is the proof they gave us? The proof they gave us is threefold proof. I'm going to talk about that first thing. So first is that the body, when the body is there, if we take something out, the body doesn't work at all, right? So the dead people don't even live, right? So there was something with the body, that's why there was a life, right? So when you take that life away from the body, then the body is nothing. It doesn't work, right? So life goes out, the body doesn't work. Means there is something else in it that is us. Now another thing you will say that we experience the body. There is an experiencer in the body that experiences the body. So there are two different things, right? Like I'm seeing this book, right? So the book and I are separate. That's why I'm seeing it. So the same way I'm experiencing something, then experiencer and experiencing object are two different things, right? So when I look at my body, I'm experiencing the body, right? When I look at the hand, I'm experiencing the hand, right? The hand is in my, I'm seeing it. Does the hand look back to us?
No.
Right? So hand is not experiencing me, but I am experiencing the hand, right? So with that said, that there is something else in the body that is an experiencer, and the body is an object that it is experiencing, right? So there is something else. We are not that body, right? So second is experiencer and experience are separate, right? And third thing is change. The body keep changing. The body kept changing. The body became older. The body became different. The body, I was the same as kid. There was a kid. There was a young adult in me. There was an old person in me. So there is something that was, the body kept changing, but there was something that never changed, right? So the changing and non-changing are separate. So there are three things that makes us feel, that proves that we are not the body, right? The first thing is that body is changeable, we are unchanging. Body is known, we are the knower. Body is experience, and we are the experiencer. And then body does not have life, but there is something that has life, right? So there are many things we can prove saying that the body is not us, right? So that cuts down this one, Annamaya. Annamaya means, they say that this is, body is made up of food, right? That's why they put Annamaya kosher, right? So, but we are not just that food that we are, right? Then we go to Pranamaya. Pranamaya, why we are not? Same things, right? We breathe, the blood, the things that are giving us life, are we that? No, we experience breathing. When we breathe, we experience, right? Can we be the breathing thing? We are not that, right? So all these ones, Pranamaya kosha, we are not that either. Then we talk about Manomaya. All these thoughts, feelings that are coming in our mind, right? Oh, I'm sad today, right? I'm sad. If that is I am, if I'm sad, then I has to be sad all the time. It should not change, right? It is changing, right? And I'm experiencing the sadness. I'm not sad, but I'm experiencing the sadness, right? So then it becomes mind, we are not that, right? Most close people get to saying that I am this person who thinks this way, right? My opinion, my thoughts, my feelings, that's what people explain themselves as. But you are not that either, because that's also we experience. There are two different things. There is an experiencer and there is an experience, right? I am very happy, right? If I am happy, then you should never be sad. You should be happy all the time because you are unchanged, but you are not, right? So your feelings keep changing, you don't change. You are the same person that feelings keep coming. So you don't change. So you are not the mind either, right? So now we go subtle to subtle to subtle and figure out what we are, right? So we start with the gross body, then we went inside Antakaran, then we went more Antakaran. So we kept going subtler and subtler, right? So we are not body, we are not this prana that we feel. Now we are not this mind that we feel and we have this thought. Now then we are not the intellect. Intellect is what? Buddhi, right? Decision making power, right? So when we understand something, right? We understand today a different way, we will understand tomorrow a different way, right? Or, I'm hungry today, I'm not hungry tomorrow, right? So kind of that decision of eating food is different today, different tomorrow. So we are not that either, because we are the same person who is witnessing the understanding, right? I understand. Do you feel like there is inside somebody saying that I understand, right? So we are using this mind and intellect as a tool to experience things. But there is the experiencer are different, right? The experiencer is different than mind and intellect. They are the objects, right? And then the bliss also, by the end everything goes away. Let's say mind goes away, intellect goes away, body goes away. What stays? Then the deep sleep stays, right? So deep sleeps, there is nothing. But what it is, are we that deep sleep? But that's blank, right? How can we be that? So then everything, when we cut it down, it comes to the point, then what are we? Then it comes only the subtlest thing remaining is the consciousness, right? That doesn't have any more subtler than consciousness. So that's how it has been proven that we are none other than that absolute consciousness, that absolute truth is the consciousness, rather than we thinking that we are this body, mind and intellect, right? I remember a long time ago, if Sarsha remember, that we went for a bike ride, and I asked her, are you tired? And she said, no, I'm not tired, but my legs are tired. And I loved it when she said that, because you know what I felt? Like she's not counting her legs as herself. Otherwise somebody would have said that, you know what, yeah, I'm tired, my legs are hurting. She didn't say that my legs are hurting. She said, you know, I'm not tired, but my legs are tired. So she separated them as, that's not my body, like I'm not that, I'm not my leg. Legs are not mine. So again, it was an innocent ignorance that she said with, but it was so true. So when we talk about ourselves, we always talk about my with connection to the body. Now, one big thing that you guys have to understand, and I know it's very high level, but I want you to start a little bit higher level than what we are, to, you know, to understand this, because you have to make decisions starting right now, right? We think that in the old age we will understand this. When we grow big, then we will understand that. It's going to be too late by that. So all the good decision would have been made by that, right? So it's better to understand this right now, so you can make the correct decision as you are going forward in your life. So when we talk about this, right? So we talk about our body as that this is mine. Rather than changing I to using the verb as this, would give you a lot of understanding how you should be talking about your body. This body needs food. I need food. It means like I need food means it becomes like, oh, I'm this body, that's why I need food. This, I need food. When you talk about this body now needs food, then it changes the prospect of that it's not you that you are understanding that this is my body. You are saying this body is an object that needs food, right? That's the way to, you know, when we want to separate us with our body or our mind or our intellect, right? So I wanted to just give you one more time this little quick recap of these kosha, because it's very important for you to understand how things are not what we think, and we belong to that, but it's not. What? Never heard?
Nothing.
Okay. So that's where we were, and we're gonna start to the next shloka. I think we ended there, if I'm thinking it right. Yeah, so in this shloka in 27th, he said that we are the people who are ignorant. What they do is they get deluded with this ego, that is the combination of mind and body. They get deluded by that, and then they do all the action with attachment, right? So all the actions are done with attachment. That's what he said. So we're going to move on to shloka number 27. 28, sorry, 28. And huh?
We did last week.
We just did quick, right?
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna do 28. Nishi, you want to read them? Oh, we turn off. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, Nishi, you ready? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, let's go 28.
Tattvavitu Mahabaho
Tattvavitu Mahabaho
Guna Karma Vibhagyayo
Guna Karma Vibhagayo
Guna Gunesu Vartanta
Guna Guneshu Vartanta
Iti Matva Na Sajate.
Iti Matva Na Sajjate. We're gonna sing together. Tattvavitu Mahabaho Guna Karma Vibhagayo Guna Guneshu Vartanta Iti Matva Na Sajjate. So here Krishna Bhagavan says, however, Mahabaho is like people, Arjun with strong arms. He says that when the person got these true insight that what they are, when the person gets that, then what happens is he knows that gunas, all the gunas, the prakriti, the body, the actions are made up of prakriti, and prakriti is made up of these three gunas, right? So they know that they are not this, everything is prakriti, they are not that, so that's why they don't get attached with the action. Now one big thing you guys have to remember, that I think we discussed that before too, that all this human is made, like human body and everything and thoughts and everything is made by prakriti, right? Prakriti is what? Prakriti is nature. So Prakriti is nature, and nature is made up of three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Right? So when we do any action we do are because of these three gunas. Either that action will have sattvic gun, either that action will have rajasic gun, and either that action will have tamasic gun, right? If you do something very lazily, lay down all day, then you are tamasic, right? So that guna is tamasic when you lay down. And you don't do any action, then it becomes tamasic. When you do a lot of action, but it is all for yourself, your desire, my desire, I need to do this, I need to do that, but with passion, but you do a lot of action, that's rajasic. And then sattvic, when you do things for others, then it becomes sattvic, right? So you only do these actions, and they are divided into these three. Every action has something to this, right? When you're excited to play a game, right, and you want to win, then it becomes rajasic. That's your rajasic guna, right? If you want to, play as a team, and then you play together with the other people, and you don't feel about that I want to win, but you take the team together to win, then it becomes sattvic, right? So every action, whatever action you do, you can divide it into these three guna, right? So that's why what happens is our body, mind, intellect, all five kosha that we talk about today, right? All that is made up of prakriti, right? So all of that is made up of prakriti, and then we isolated what? One thing that we are. What was that thing? What did we isolate? We are not body, we are not mind, we are not intellect, we are not these life sources, we are not the bliss. Then what are we? Atma, or consciousness. Right? So then there are two things that came across. Everything else is prakriti, the entire world is prakriti, and we are Atma. So there is only two things that is divided, right? So prakriti and Atma. All the action that you do falls into prakriti, because those are objects, right? When you take action on the object, right? Atma is the subject, right? This is object and this is subject, right? Now if you want to do any work, you do subject works on object. So entire world is an object, and Atma, the consciousness of a real self, is a subject, right? Now it all belongs to Prakriti. So any action that we take belongs to who now? Whatever action we take, because all the actions are from Prakriti, then it belongs to, all
Nature.
the action belongs to nature or Prakriti. So all the action in the world that we do, right, belongs to Prakriti, because that's where it is and that's where it goes to, right? The subject, we are the only one who's doing the action. So the Atma, the consciousness, that's what we are, right? So the person that figures out the differentiation between this and this, remember, body, mind and everything goes in Prakriti, upper side of the division. Only the lower side of the division has Atma. The person that can differentiate between these two, they don't get attached to any action they do. Because why? Because action belongs to Prakriti. Action doesn't belong to us. Atma belongs to you can say us or God, right? Everything else belongs to Prakriti. Now there are 2-3 things that you can look at it. There are 2-3 ways to look at it. If I say, okay, I don't know about the religion, about the God, anything, I have no clue about that, right? So how should I relate myself with this, right? When you say that it's all, it's all Prakriti, then everything. So when you say, okay, the person comes in and say, I'm here only to do my responsibility, my duties, like I have duties to my mother, my father, I have duties for my brother, my sisters, my family, I have to go, work hard or study hard. That's my responsibility, that's my duty. And then I have to, take care of all these things that I have to do. So that those are my responsibility, right? So I will do that. I don't know about the religion or anything. So how should I do my action? In this way, if you understand, then you understand world as Prakriti. Whatever outside is the world, right? When we say us and others, right? Entire world. This is me and those are others, right? Everything is others except me is me, right? So when we say that I and the entire world. So when I do action to the world. Krishna. So I do action, right? So what happens is, then when I say that I devote all my action to the world, right? That's my responsibility that I'm doing, right? So here there is no God, nothing. It's just saying that I'm doing my action to the world. Instead of Prakriti, what I'm saying, I don't have understanding of Prakriti and gunas and all these things, all these complicated things. I don't know about it. That's okay. You are doing and you are taking care of your brother, your sister, your mother, father. They are the world, right? They are not you. This is me and everything other things is world. So then I'm taking care of the world, right? So whatever action you are doing, you are giving it to the world. So then action doesn't stay with you. Action goes away, right? Because you did action to the world. So you surrender all your action to the world, right? You understand? So that's how you can start thinking about it. If I say that Prakriti and Purusha, or I would say Prakriti and Atma are separate two things, right? If you think like that, then the religion comes and then we can separate them and say, hey, all the action belong to Prakriti and I belong to God. That's easy for us to say because we follow the religion, right? But even a person doesn't follow the religion, you can separate the action and us in that way too, right? You got the point? So that's how you have to separate, and that's how the enlightened person works. He separates the whole world and he separates the Atma, and that's how he works. So he never get attached to the action, right? So that's what he explained in shlok number 28. Let me see if I missed anything. So, guna means the body, mind, the object. Guneshu means also object. So object works with object interacts with object. I have nothing to do. Like I am just witnessing. I just witness the action. I don't do. What I am using here? Am I using the little eye or bigger eye? The big eye or small eye? The big eye, right? I'm using a big eye here. I'm not using that eye like this body mind complex. I'm using the bigger eye. That I'm just the witness of that action. I'm not doing the action. So then I don't be the doer, right? I am just witnessing that the action is being done, right? So that's how the enlightened person think. Okay, let's go to shlok number 29.
Okay. Prakrtirguna samuda
Prakriti-guna-samudha
sanjante gunakarmasu
Sajjante gunakarmashu
tan akratasana vido mandan
Tana kuchna vido manda
kratsana vinna viklayat.
Krishna vichalayat. Together. Prakriti-guna-samudha Sajjate gunakarmashu Tana Krishna vido mandan Krishna vinna vichalayat. So now what he is saying, that those who are completely deluded by the gunas, right? We already heard about it. Those people think that they are themselves. They are this body, mind, intellect. They are not, the Prakriti is not giving it. Is that what they are doing it? They do action by attachment. And the people who are not deluded by this, they do without attachment. So he is summarizing the whole thing, saying that they are deluded, then they will do action with the attachment, right? So we do action with attachment, right? We are deluded right now with the ego, with this, that we are this body, mind, intellect. So we do all the action with attachment, right? Now he is saying that, and Krishna Bhagavan is also giving a suggestion. So the people who are deluded with this ego, you don't go and tell them, don't confuse them and say, no, you are the consciousness. So he is saying, don't be smart to say that, oh no, you are consciousness, so forget about this delusion and work in the consciousness, which right now we are doing it. Why we are doing it? Just because we want to know about it, right? I want to share with you guys that concept. Probably not all of us will get it. I might not get it, you might not get it, this concept, right? But at least we share this concept to say that, hey, this is what we really are, right? So when we grow old, nobody will come and say, hey, you never told me what we really are. We could have changed so many decisions that we made, right? So they said, don't tell. Krishna Bhagavan is saying, don't tell people who are not understanding this thing. Don't keep on telling them and don't confuse them, right? But, we are confusing. I'm confusing myself. I'm confusing you guys too, because I want you to know this great information that we are not aware of, right? When we grew up, we are not. I grew up, I was not aware of it. So I don't want you to do the same mistake as I did. So I want you to be aware of what you really are, right? So that's why. So Krishna Bhagavan said that in this shlok, just revision of all the shlok and said, hey, this is what people who are deluded will do the action with attachment. And people who are not deluded, they will do action without attachment, right? Okay, let's go to the verse 30.
Mai sarvani karmani
Mayi sarvani karmani
samnayasya tayat tasa
Sanyasyadyatmachetasa
nirasir nirmano bhutva
Nirashirnirmamo bhutva
yudyasva vigatajara.
Yodyasya vigatajvara. We're gonna sing together. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasyadyatmachetasa nirashirnirmamo bhutva yudyasya vigatajvara. Such a beautiful shlok, such a beautiful shlok. So here what happened is, now Krishna Bhagavan says that let's say we said, okay, we understand what enlightened person does and what unenlightened person does, or what the person does when they are on spiritual path and what the person does when they are not on spiritual path. So then he said, I understand all this, but I'm still in this world. What should I do? Right? Now Krishna Bhagavan already told us, but he's actually giving him this simple shlok one more time, just a revision that what you should be doing, right? So he said that you need to surrender all the work to me. Now listen to what is the translation, and then we're gonna go through the explanation. But surrender all the work to me by the spiritual action, without desire, without attachment, and go engage in this fight, right? So he explained this, go and engage yourself in this fight without mental agitation. So very clearly he says that, line by line, if he says that Mayi sarvani sanyasya, what you have to do is dedicate all the work to me. Now we don't know Krishna Bhagavan is God at this moment. Arjun doesn't know Krishna Bhagavan is God in this moment. So when he says that surrender the work to me, he meant surrender the work to the consciousness, the Atma that we were talking about. That do not think that you are the doer. Who is the doer? Who is the doer? The Prakriti. The Prakriti and the Guna are the doer. You are not the doer, right? So you are the consciousness, you are not the doer. The Prakriti is doer. So then what happens is, surrender that work to me. So what does he do? That you are in this world, right? Now we don't know the realization. We are not enlightened people, so we don't know anything. Now what should we do, right? So what he is saying is simple thing. Don't get into all this confusion thinking about what is Atman, what is I, and what I am do. So he just gave in one statement, how should you take the action? And Avika said very well today, that surrender, that's where he comes. Krishna admitted. So it says that you surrender all the work to me with the spiritual attitude, right? So you surrender the work with me with the spiritual attitude, not the selfish attitude. Remember that, right? So all the spiritual attitude are unselfish attitude. So you do surrender the work to me without desire, right? So selfishness goes away, without attachment, that goes away. And then he says, go and do the fight. For us, the fight is the life, right? The life is a fight. So we do that, and then we want to do, and then he says, without mental agitation, with the calmness. Go ahead and do this fight with the calmness. Now, such a beautiful shlok. Why? Because look at the shlok. It actually gives all the, most of the 3 yogas in one shlok, right? When he says, Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya, that's the bhakti. Surrender all the work to me. To me here is the consciousness, but we can do God, right? So, surrender all the work that you are doing, surrender it to God. That's what? That's bhakti, right? Bhakti yoga. Then he said, on the next sentence he says, Adhyatma chetasa, means with the spiritual attitude. Adhyatmic is the spiritual, right? So with the spiritual attitude, submit all the action that you do to me. And then he said, Nirashaye nirmamo bhutva. So he is saying without any desire, without any attachment. Nirmamoha bhutva. Yudhyasva. Go fight. And then he said Vigata Jwara. Jwara means fever. Fever, here it means the agitation, right? When you have a fever, there is an agitation. So you do without the mental agitation. When you do this, that's what you have to do. So again, he gave the answer to the unspiritual people, right? Spiritual people are already, the enlightened people are already separated, right? They already know what to do. We are the one who don't know what to do, right? So he's giving us simple answer. All the action, when you take, surrender it to God without attachment, without desire, without your personal desire into it. If you surrender it to God, that's what the Karma Yoga is. So he entered the Karma Yoga at the end with the last statement, right? So he talked about Bhakti Yoga, he talked about Gyan because it's the Adhyatmic attitude. So Gyan, and then he talked about the Karma Yoga in the last statement, right? So he explained this very well. Now, when we say that all these actions belong to Prakriti, and our consciousness belong to God. So all the action goes in the world back, in the Prakriti back, right? So then there is no attachment because it's not ours, right? Ours is this Atma and the God that we belong to. So we have separated them out in these shlok that Krishna Bhagavan said. And then eventually he said, if you don't understand, don't get confused, just leave it everything and surrender all the actions to God. And that's how it goes, right? So one thing I wanted to tell you guys, but we can do it next time because it's a little bit longer explanation. But before that, before we close down, I want to just say, you guys, that there is a very much a lot of things going around in the world, right? There is a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, and we do feel war is not good for everybody and people are suffering there. So I just wanted to have 1 minute of silence to just pray. So we want to devote this class, dedicate this class to the people who are suffering in Ukraine with this war, right? And we pray to God to help them, right? So that's what we can do sitting here at this moment, right? So let's do 1 minute of silence and just pray in that 1 minute that people give peace to everybody who is suffering in Ukraine. God help them. Okay, let's close the class. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramadanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Krishna Arpanamastu.